Bear with me, all right? Wausau is a city with rich history and a vibrant present, thanks in part to the contributions of our past historical leaders. These historical leaders from the early 1900s became known as the Wausau Group, and they felt passionately about the greater Wausau area. You see, it was this group that started many of the businesses, industries that led us to today. It was seemingly very important to them that Wausau flourished, and I believe they simply loved Wausau and the people who lived here. We know this by the legacies and lessons for the future they left behind. These legacies of business success, valued education, healthcare, philanthropy, and cultural activities are plentiful. I also believe they led by example. And today, those examples of legacies are being recreated much the same way. Today's leaders do as their predecessors did before them. They pull together their resources and they work towards a common goal. This approach often proves to be successful, as it was when the Medical College of Wisconsin chose Wausau as its new location for its central Wisconsin campus. When today's local leaders learned that the Medical College of Wisconsin was considering Wausau as its possible site for their new campus, we started to take action. A small group of individuals from the business community, education systems, local government, philanthropy, and medical facilities formed a committee with the sole intent of convincing the leaders of MCW that Wausau was the best location for their new central Wisconsin campus. This group was co-chaired by three individuals that really led the charge. Mr. Lane Ware, then president of Reuter Ware Law Firm, Dr. Keith Montgomery, then CEO and campus dean of what was UWMC, and Mr. Jim McIntyre, then CEO of Greenheck Fan Corporation. Their efforts helped lay the groundwork for the rest of us to follow. We shared a plan for why MCW should select Wausau, and this plan proved to be correct. This plan was simple. It was simply to tell our story, and the story went something like this. I'm speaking in past tense now. Wausau is where the action is in central Wisconsin. Two of Wisconsin's most traveled highways come together within our boundaries. The region's airport is located here and is being expanded. Network television stations call Wausau their home, as does Wisconsin Public Radio. Wausau possesses broader diversity than other central Wisconsin municipalities, and future medical college students would be able to look to the likes of the Woodson Art Museum, the Grand Theater, the Center for Visual Arts, the Wausau Conservatory of Music, UWMC, and NTC for enrichment that other central Wisconsin communities could not completely offer. Now, MCW students would be here 10 months or more of the year. Think of the neat opportunities offered them by Granite Peak in the winter and the Wisconsin River in summer. All of these are unique attributes to our city. We also share that broad community support has been developing for this important potential addition to our city. Local foundations, healthcare providers, and other business leaders are all in support of bringing MCW to Wausau. For Wausau and the region, the facility and its health programs can spur further economic growth. Directly, it may attract healthcare companies, and indirectly, it adds to the infrastructure of the region in ways that will make the region more attractive to other businesses and their employees. MCW students and administrators will find that Wausau offers quick access to Aspirus Hospital, Marshfield Clinic, and Ministry Healthcare. Also, the Bridge Street Clinic, North Central Healthcare, the UW Family Medicine Residency Program, and the Marshfield Clinics and Aspirus Clinical sites in the rural areas to the north, south, east, and west. All also benefit from Wausau's location. Wausau would also offer the benefit of easy access to MCW's new Upstate program in Green Bay. With all Wausau had to offer, we hoped MCW's Board of Trustees would accept our invitation to come and become part of our community. And they did. Imagine that. Well, so how could have they picked any other location? Well, realistically, MCW could have selected to be here in Stevens Point, or Marshfield, or even Eau Claire at the time. All these locations would have made great homes for the new Central Wisconsin campus. But in the end, I guess Wausau had the most to offer. To date, I strongly believe Wausau is living up to its promises that you are all pleased with the decisions to be here. Reflecting on the legacies that Wausau's past leaders shared, the BA and Esther Greenheck Foundation and many other local foundations, families, and individuals saw the value of bringing MCW here. This is why many of us decided to financially help make that happen. Specifically, the Board of Trustees of the BA and Esther Greenheck Foundation, whose task is to carry on the desires and legacies of Bernie and Esther, felt strongly that this campus needed to be in Wausau and to serve all North Central Wisconsin. Our mission states we are committed to strengthening our community by providing opportunities for growth to the people of North Central Wisconsin in the fields of arts, education, health, and economic and social development. With those who graduated before you, and with all of you graduating here today, and with those that will graduate after you, we strongly believe that we are providing opportunities to not only all of you, but to all of the people of North Central Wisconsin with the best health care possible. To date, it is already taking place. You have already had an impact on the health care of those living here in Central Wisconsin, be it through your first exposure to clinical work in an apprenticeship program and then moving into clinical clerkship work. Equally important, I believe, is your involvement with local nonprofits and school districts in the Physicians in the Community Pathway program, of which I have served on the advisory board since its beginning, and might I say, nice job. Those volunteer opportunities were plentiful, working in the areas of food pantries, shelters, and our local free clinic, to name a few. More specifically yet, your classes work on the Seek Peer Outreach project that studied suicide prevention for our local teens is making a difference. These examples show how you have already been providing care for this community. We personally thank you. I understand that this work and volunteerism is all part of your curriculum, and I hope it has ensured that you all leave this campus with a personal level of knowledge and appreciation of this community you have lived in for the past 3 or 4 years. As you take your next steps in becoming who and what you want to be, please remember at least this part of what I am sharing with you today. Sandy and I feel very strongly that a community is only as good as those who live within it, meaning wherever your paths take you and you make it your home. To truly be part of that community, you must participate. You must get involved. Yes, as doctors, your lives will be very busy. We get it. But that does not mean you cannot find time to give back. In addition to supporting your community financially, consider donating your time by volunteering. Volunteering is the best way to become part of a community. Being present and sharing your skills is most rewarding. Those that you help with your time will be the ones that will be the most impacted, because that often starts the paying it forward chain. Most of the people sitting up here on stage or out there in the audience give of their time by volunteering or participating in community events. serving on a nonprofit board, volunteering at food pantries, homeless shelters, free medical clinics, or delivering meals to shut-ins are all being part of a community by volunteering, or by participating in local clubs or theatrical, artistic, or performance groups are great ways to become part of a community. It's easy to just bury yourself in your work, but it is very important to get more out of life by getting involved. To conclude, I wish you the very best from this day forward. Your accomplishments up to today will help navigate you into the future. Stay the course by staying true to yourselves. Sandy and I pass our congratulations on to you and your families for a job well done, and we look forward to hearing more about your accomplishments in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you, Sandy, if you're out there watching. Next, I would like to invite Sophie Chelsvig and Jesselyn Hendrickson, selected by their peers from the MCW Central Wisconsin class of 2023, to the podium to say a few words on behalf of the M3 class.
Thank you, Dr. Dodson. So we'd like to take some time to look back on what we learned during our time here at the Medical College of Wisconsin. We have a detailed curriculum to ensure we all develop fundamental medical knowledge before starting clinical rotations. Due to the massive amount of information we are being taught in a short period of time, the experience during the beginning of medical school is often likened to drinking out of a fire hose.
It's a pretty good analogy, not only because you tend to feel like you're drowning, but also just like you might think you know how to drink water, many of us foolishly think we know how to study after 16 plus years of education. The truth is that many of us still have to adapt our habits pretty dramatically to be able to keep that volume down.
After completing our first year, we start thinking we know something. This is when relatives tend to start asking us questions about whether they should get that weird mole checked out. We excitedly transition to clerkships or clinical rotations, where we remind ourselves that we actually still know very little. Our clerkships are where we get to practice applying the knowledge that we've acquired and learn hands-on skills like how to close a surgical incision and start a peripheral IV. Medical knowledge and clinical skills are the foundation of our training, but they are just the tip of the iceberg.
Outside of medicine itself, we have learned so much that is vital to being a physician that is harder to get from a book, like how to be resilient and treat failure as a learning opportunity, or like how to watch out for our colleagues and be there for each other in the face of growing rates of burnout and mental illness in the medical field. The group of young physicians gathered here today is full of compassionate and driven individuals who have grown into leaders by way of these lessons.
We would also like to share some other important, though perhaps less conventional skills that some of us have learned.
How to do flashcards on the treadmill and other forms of multitasking.
How do you keep your hand from cramping when you've been retracting in surgery for an hour? How to drink coffee or other heavily caffeinated beverages to stay awake.
How to wean yourself off of coffee when you realize you've become too dependent, though some would argue there's no such thing.
How to play pool.
Some of us a little less successfully than others.
Or how to make your white coat look like it hasn't been crumpled up in a ball for 2 months since the last time you needed to wear it for a clinical skills exam.
How to study anytime, anywhere. How to eat anytime, anywhere. How to sleep, you guessed it, anytime, anywhere.
But really, we are so grateful for all of the experiences and people who have shaped us. We are so lucky to have friends and family supporting us, without whom we would never have made it to the beginning of medical school, let alone the end of it. We are thankful for Dr. Dodson for being an excellent leader and role model, for cultivating the collaborative rather than competitive culture on our campus, and emphasizing the role of the community around us in our education.
Thank you to all of the faculty and staff on our campus, too many to list by name, but all hugely important to not only our learning, but our sanity these last few years. Thank you to the rest of the Central Wisconsin students for being supportive and really building each other up. Thank you to the plethora of physicians who've taught us in the hospitals and clinics and expertly guided us from crawling as first years to walking as soon-to-be interns. And finally, thank you to our incredible patients for being literally patient with us, for entrusting us with their care, and for reminding us what an honor it is to be someone's doctor.
So now we'll wrap up this primarily retrospective account with a few more future-oriented thoughts for our graduates.
We hope you continue to take advantage of opportunities to learn and grow as both doctors and human beings.
We hope you all enjoy success in your careers, however you may define it.
We hope you discover all the best places to eat wherever you're headed for residency and all the best coffee shops if that's your jam.
We hope you never forget the company you had on this journey.
We were so lucky to be here together.
Congratulations.
So now we wish to welcome Dr. Dodd to the podium.
Thank you, and you now see a little taste of how much fun it is to be on our campus. Next, I would like to invite Sarah Steffen, M4 student, also to be also a member of the class of 2023, to the podium to say a few words.
Thank you, Sophie and Jess, for your words of wisdom and sharing only some of the many, many things which we have learned during our time in school. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sarah Steffen, and it's normally during this part of my introduction where I say, and I'm a fourth-year medical student, except so very, very soon, my title and introduction will change, which feels beyond surreal. Like many students on our campus, I am from Wisconsin. I grew up in Richmond on the western part of the state, but central Wisconsin has played a significant part in my life story, and there are many things in my life that I owe to it. You see, my mom is from Marathon, Wisconsin, and my dad is from Wausau. It is in Wausau where my parents met. Growing up, I spent many weekends and holidays in both Marathon and Wausau visiting family. And compared to New Richmond, Wausau felt like the big city to me. In fact, it was during one of these visits that I can clearly remember when my grandma Otto showed me a newspaper article about the medical school that would be starting in Wausau. "You could go here," she said to me. After having studied abroad and seen more of the world, you can imagine that Wausau was no longer the big city it once used to be for me. I think I replied along the lines of, "That's nice, Grandma, but I don't think so." Well, joke's on me, and Grandma clearly knew best, because here I am. Despite my reservations I had then, I am extremely fortunate to have ended up at MCW Central Wisconsin, and for this campus taking a chance on me when it seemed like no other place would. Although I was academically successful in high school and college, getting into medical school was challenging for me. I had problems finding shadowing opportunities, and unlike others who I knew pursuing medicine, I didn't really know any doctors. It took years of work and connections to find people who were willing to support and make these opportunities possible for me. Throughout this time, I struggled with imposter syndrome and worried if I was worthy enough. I also full-heartedly believed that the biggest lie of all, which was that the most difficult part about medical school was getting in. Yes, without doubt, acceptance to medical school is a tough, rigorous process, but there certainly is no shortage of adversity and obstacles in medical school, let alone tackling medical school during a pandemic which turned the world upside down, like we all here have done. Among many challenges, medical school, especially on a rural campus, can often feel isolating and like you're doing it all on your own, with the frequent traveling and somehow not seeing classmates for weeks or months at a time, even when scheduled at the same tiny hospital. However, despite this feeling, I know I stand on the shoulder of the many, many people who have played roles in supporting me on my journey. My family and friends who read, edited, revised a seemingly unending amount of primary, secondary, and scholarship applications. Those who let me stay with them for free when shadowing opportunities or clinical duties arose. Teachers, professors, bosses, and faculty who have written letters of recommendations for me at various stages of my life. Friends and family who kept me caffeinated with gifts of coffee during exam week and busy clinical rotations. Attendings who fought for me to be included in opportunities. Patients who allowed me to learn from them, be a part of their care, and by extension, their life stories. My classmates who never failed to inspire me with their intelligence, determination, and humor. And to my parents, for which there is no shortage of thanks to be given. Thank you for always encouraging and believing in me and for never giving me any idea that I couldn't do whatever I wanted to do or be whatever I wanted to be. You are my guideposts in life, my biggest role models and cheerleaders, and this would not have been possible without you. Also, thank you for letting me move back home, not just once as an adult, but twice. I think they're almost just as excited about the fact that their basement will soon be back to them free of my stuff than they are that I'm actually about to be a doctor, but I'm only kidding, well, mostly. As we gather here today as a class for the last time, I can't help but reflect on our experience of medical school, what is to come in residency for each of us as we part our own ways, and my hopes for the future. I challenge each of us to not only advocate for our patients, but to also advocate and continue humanizing medicine for those training and practicing in it as well. Just because it always has been doesn't mean it always needs to be. And I hope you remember that no matter your specialty or standing, equality, justice, and doing right by your patients are never outside of your lane or the scope of your care. We all do better when we all do better. It always seems impossible until it is done, yet here we are at this finish line. It is done. Congratulations, my dear friends and class of 2023. We did it. We are doctors. Now go move mountains in the world and in medicine. I now wish to welcome Dr. Dodson back to the podium.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, congratulations to the MCW Central Wisconsin class of 2023. I don't have to tell you that you're entering the next phase of your medical education journey in extraordinary times. Half of you started this journey before your education was disrupted by an illness unknown when you started medical school. The other half entered medical school in the midst of our global pandemic and have experienced the normal challenges of medical school in a decidedly extraordinary way. The fact that we are able to gather today here in this beautiful facility is to celebrate your accomplishments in person owes much credit to our faculty, staff, students, and our partnering health systems, and importantly, to the brave and foresighted scientists, doctors, public health officials, administrators, and politicians who developed, produced, funded, and distributed vaccines, diagnostic tests, personal protective equipment, and are disseminating the growing body of knowledge about COVID in the face of significant and ongoing disinformation. Just as your education has been altered, your career will be shaped by the events of the last 3.5 years, as well as whatever else is to come over the next several. You have withstood not only the normal challenges, but you've also accomplished it in 3 years in many cases, and all of you accomplished it in the midst of some of the most urgent national challenges in several generations. Here at MCW Central Wisconsin, we educate you to become physicians who are able to withstand the complexity and uncertainty of our world. You will be tested in the coming months. You will encounter unprecedented financial, social, and political divisiveness. You will treat the afflicted within systems that do not always function in either your best interest or that of your patients. I hope that you've come to realize how resilient and adaptable you are and how strong the connections that you've made here are, and that you have it in you to create lasting positive change. I hope that you go out into this uncertain world with one certainty, that you personally can help to reshape the world you want to live in and practice in. I sincerely believe that you can. There is not a single one of you who I would not trust to take care of me, except maybe Jake and Sophie because of the whole pediatrics thing. But the two of you can take care of all the grandchildren that I don't have yet. Phil and Andrew, thank you for choosing to care for us older folks. Jess, both Sadies, Chloe, Sarah, Eric, and Katie, everyone deserves a great family doctor like you. Cody, who will come to know us from the inside out. Marco, who will be healing our minds and spirits. Alex and Sierra, for your dedication to providing comprehensive care for the women that we all deserve. Dima, for putting yourself in the front lines in emergency medicine. Vince and Martin, for putting us gently to sleep so that Colton and Meg can repair our bodies and our spirits. You are, each and every one of you, remarkable and memorable and have contributed to our campus in so many ways. You make me very, very proud. And it's always bittersweet at this moment to recognize that I might not see some of you again, so don't be strangers. My hope for you is severalfold. First, recognize your actions and intentions matter. Use the privilege that you've been given for the benefit of your patients and the greater good for your community. Remember that the origin of the word doctor is teacher, and pay your education forward. Dream big, act on your own self-interest, And remember that dreams may be fulfilled through pathways that you do not yet see right in front of you. Second, do good for your community while also doing well for yourselves. Regardless of where your careers and lives take you, you have been given many gifts: a strong intellect, an education on a campus that we hope has enabled you to develop skills to understand, engage with, and improve your community, and a calling to a career with unbounded potential, both for doing good and doing well. Third, help heal our country and our communities with your skills as a scientist, healer, advocate, teacher, and leader. You have so much to offer. Be a part of the solution that brings us back together. Remember that while there is only so much that one person can do, we each must do that much. I wish you Godspeed. Thank you for the privilege of sharing this piece of your life with you through the challenges of medical school. I'm proud of you. Dream big, do good work, take care of yourselves and each other, and please stay in touch. I offer my congratulations and best wishes to the graduates, their families, the friends, and the community that has supported them. Now, I would like to invite to the podium Dr. Joseph E. Kirschner, Provost and Executive Vice President of the Medical College of Wisconsin, and the Julia A. Uline, M.A., Dean of the Medical School of Wisconsin. It's a very big title. He has some remarks to share with you all.
Thank you, Dr. Dotson. Graduates, family members, loved ones, faculty members, staff, distinguished guests, congratulations. Let's give them a round of applause. I know you've had a lot of words thrown at you, and I'll try and keep my remarks brief. The thing I wanted to say is I was going to talk today about family, and I love this graduation ceremony here at MCW Central Wisconsin, because every time I get to come back here, I really feel that the embodiment of family is here at MCW Central Wisconsin. When I was interviewing for the dean's job back in 2011, many of the faculty, staff, students said to me, please try and keep the family aspect in the Medical College of Wisconsin. I think they were saying don't screw it up, but what they really felt, and they articulated to me again and again, is that there's something special about MCW. And I think as we formulated this campus here in Central Wisconsin, we took all of the best pieces of that aspect of family, and I see it exemplified in so many ways every time I come here. And so it's been my joy to be with you. And I would just tell you, as you go out, please do keep the thoughts in mind of the best aspects of a family. Families aren't perfect. Families sometimes have disagreements, but families really strive to see the worth and the value that each member of that family brings. And so as you go out to your respective training places and residency, I hope that you'll see your colleagues as family members and include all equals and endeavor to lift up their ideas along with yours. I hope you'll work with purpose and values with those around you, your family members, to build a better planet and world while also accomplishing the task at hand for your own professional careers. And perhaps most importantly, in today's divided and polarized world, coming together at the proverbial table with those around you, your family members, to listen and understand rather than to simply expound on a viewpoint. Coming with a sense of optimism, curiosity, and assuming the best intent rather than negativity and pessimism that we so often see today. You know, I would say that as you have accomplished so much and we're so proud of you, I know that you will bring these aspects with you everywhere you go. And as Dr. Dotson said, I hope you will let us know how you're doing. I hope you'll contact the Alumni Association and let us know what you're doing and help us to be able to celebrate all of the things that you are doing. And as you carry that culture forward, I would just ask you one more thing, to try and create a space for love in the work that you do. I know that it's a little bit unusual to speak about love at a commencement address, and I know that people say that institutions won't love you back, and that's true. Buildings can't really love you. Institutions can't really love you. But you all can go out with your sense of family, with your sense of respect, with your sense of ability. Wash out all those comments I heard about imposter syndrome. You don't need those anymore. You are good enough. You are enough. You're enough to create that sense of family every place you go, and to bring with you an ability to create a place of love where people can have respect and caring. So I wish you all the best as you go forward. We're so proud of you. I can't wait to see all of the great things that you'll do. Congratulations.
It is my pleasure to present the 2023 School of Medicine candidates. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not me. I am ahead of schedule here. So. Totally lost. Commissioner. Oh, I'm introducing Dr. Jacob Pranuski. Dr. Pranuski is the clinical dean for the campus here and will present the oath.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Joe, for your remarks. And thank you to all of our students who spoke today. It's absolutely my pleasure. I might be the last thing between you and your degrees, so thank you for your patience. Before the conferral of the degrees, we're going to proceed with the administration of the Physician's Pledge, the Declaration of Geneva. Candidates for the degree of medicine, please rise. Just making sure our tech is working. I'd like you all to raise your right hand. We're going to read this together, so recite with me the Declaration of Geneva. As a member of the medical profession, I pledge to dedicate my life to the service of humanity through the art and science of medicine. The health and well-being of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the autonomy and dignity of my patients. I will value the individuality of my patients and care for them to the best of my ability. I will safeguard the confidentiality of my patients. I will practice my profession with conscience and integrity and in accordance with medical standards. I will share my medical knowledge for the benefit of the community and the improvement of healthcare. I will give my teachers, colleagues, and students the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will attend to my own health, well-being, and abilities so that I am able to provide the best care for my patients. I will engage in honest self-reflection upon my character, acknowledging both my strengths and limitations. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights or civil liberties, even under threat. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Please be seated. Dr. Kushner?
I now invite Dr. Raymond back to the podium for the conferral of the Doctor of Medicine degree. Dr. Raymond, on behalf of the faculty of the Medical College of Wisconsin, I present these candidates for the degree Doctor of Medicine and recommend that this degree be conferred upon them.
Thank you, Dr. Kirschner. Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Medicine, by the authority delegated to me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Medicine and pronounce you now graduates of the Medical College of Wisconsin. Graduates, please come forward to receive your academic hood and your diplomas. I'd now like to invite Dr. Roy Long, MCW Central Wisconsin's Assistant Dean and Associate Professor, to the podium to announce our graduates.
Graduates, as I call your name, please proceed to the center of the stage to be hooded. After your hooding, please remain at center stage to accept your diploma. We ask that you hold all applause until after the graduate receives their diploma. Are we ready? Almost ready. Okay. Dr. Vince Berry, hooded by Dr. Ellen Schumann. Dr. Colton Brown, hooded by Dr. Carolyn Nash. Dr. Martin Colby, hooded by Dr. Greta Colby. Dr. Sierra Danon, hooded by Dr. Elizabeth Mellett. Dr. Jacob Elliott, hooded by Dr. Kay Lockwood. Dr. Philip Hartfield, hooded by Dr. Kay Lockwood. Dr. Jesslyn Hendrickson, hooded by Dr. Joel Hendrickson. Dr. Dima Jabber, hooded by Dr. Colette Solodka. Dr. Sadie Jackson, hooded by Dr. Edward Kroll. Dr. Alexandra Kirschner, hooded by Dr. Edward Kroll. Dr. Sophie Chelsvig, hooded by Dr. Eric Johnson. Dr. Chloe Lang, hooded by Dr. Michelle Montgomery. Dr. Caitlin Larson, hooded by Dr. Michelle Montgomery. Dr. Margaret Lieb, hooded by Dr. Gwendolyn Hoban. Dr. Mercedes Miller, hooded by Dr. Karina Norbaum. Dr. Cody Schreiner, hooded by Dr. Ryan Benton. Dr. Andrew Sepiol, hooded by Dr. Jeffrey Lamont. Dr. Sarah Steffen, hooded by Dr. Amy Falk. Dr. Eric Weaver, hooded by Dr. Jacob Pernuski. Okay, doesn't look like we forgot anybody, so that's good. We've been known to do that. So congratulations, graduates.
Congratulations indeed. Now, I would like to ask Dr. Ellen Schumann, Central Wisconsin Associate Professor of Pediatrics, to the podium. Dr. Schumann is retiring this year, and I want to thank her for her years of dedication to our student, our campus, and our success. She will deliver the faculty charge.
Thank you, Dr. Dodson. That's better. Thank you for the promotion. If that was your way of trying to get me to stick around, I'm sorry, it's not going to work. I'm an assistant professor. Dear fellow physicians, has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? As a faculty representative on this momentous occasion, I'd first want to begin by sharing our heartfelt congratulations. We are all so very proud of you and your accomplishment. I also want to thank Dr. Dodson because, as she said, this is I'm at a transition point in my life's journey. So as these students walk off to residency, I walk off into retirement. So like you, I spent a good deal of time thinking and reflecting. And I ended up reflecting on doors. So I wanted to share some of those reflections with you today as we both move along. Did you know that anthropologists and historians consider the invention of doors to mark the time when human civilization went from being a primitive habitat to civilized settlements? It did. So from the beginning, doors have always been symbolic. In Roman mythology, Janus is the god of doors. Interestingly, he's also the god of beginnings and endings. He's a two-faced god. He stands in his doorway where one face looks to the past and the other face looks to the future. And so the month of January is very fittingly named for him. Doors hold sacred meaning. We frame our doorways with sacred objects to protect our shelter or to herald the entrance to a sacred space. Doors also symbolize our transition from this life to the next. And so we have the Passover door, Egyptian false doors and tombs that create a passageway to the next world, holy doors, torii towers at the entrance to Shinto shrines, horseshoes hung over doors, mezuzahs on lintels. In the British Isles, you open all the doors of a house in which someone is dying to help the soul leave this world. What else can we learn from doors? An open door symbolizes a new beginning. You are welcome to enter as you did 3 and 4 years ago at the beginning of your medical school journey. Sometimes you need to knock on the door. You need permission to enter and engage. For me, this brings to mind patient-centered care, showing respect for the dignity of our patients and the true privilege of caring for them and being invited to share in their lives. Remember to hold the door open. Helping others is what this vocation is all about. Sometimes we lend a hand by leading, sometimes by being a good team member, and sometimes we pay it forward by teaching others as we were taught and mentored. At times, you'll need to put the door back on its hinges. Don't just walk through that door. Take action to fix it, or at least try to make it better. Take responsibility to help solve the problems of implicit bias and racism in medicine. Be a leader in your communities. Help us design a better door. Have you ever heard of a Norman door? A Norman door is any door that's confusing to use because it's poorly designed. Its design elements visually show wrong usability signals, so you actually need signage to know whether to push or pull. Our healthcare system is broken. Help us design a better one. Be mindful of the needs of all of our patients, especially the most vulnerable. I don't think this is the use any of us have in mind for a door. Whoops, we're off. There we go. Sometimes you may be faced with a choice of multiple doors. Your career is a journey that's just beginning. Many paths lie ahead. Many choices are yet to be made. You don't need to have your career all planned out. Let the adventure unfold. Remember, a door is a portal. You can go through it 2 ways. Keep your options open. It's just like what we talked about in our night on call debrief a couple of weeks ago. Don't narrow your diagnostic options too soon. Keep your mind open. Your life is going to become more hectic, believe it or not. Don't let yourself get stuck in a revolving door. Don't get stuck in mindless circular paths. Remember to include wellness in your life, no matter how small the steps you take. Learn to control what you can and let the rest go. What you can control is your attitude. So remember, it's attitude, not aptitude, that determines your altitude. And if the door is stuck, don't be afraid to ask for help. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. We're stronger together, so lean on each other. Again, you don't need to know everything now. And if there's one thing you've learned from experiencing LIC, it's resilience. You know how to roll with the punches and get it done. And while we're on the topic of knowledge, don't ever close the door to the library. Be curious. Devote yourself to being the best doctor you can be. Grow, learn, explore. Take advantage of new opportunities that present themselves and dare to change. It's okay to lock your door sometimes. We all need time to reflect privately, to come to grips with difficult situations, or to protect ourselves, to feel safe. Just don't get trapped behind that locked door. You will encounter closed doors. Sometimes it's a dead end, other times just a do not disturb. It may be for your own protection, like this door marked during the plague. Just stop and think before trying to enter. Be mindful of the situation and act with sensitivity. You'll also encounter creaking doors. Hopefully, they won't be the first scene from a horror movie. Just lubricate the hinges with the oil of your knowledge and tact. Remind that fellow resident to wash their hands. And yes, one more time of me telling you about hand hygiene. Don't prescribe broad-spectrum antibiotics when they aren't indicated. And take that extra few minutes to make sure your patient's med reconciliation is done correctly. Be a role model for a culture of safety. Finally, we return to that open door. Doors are also a way out, the next step in a new beginning. So as you leave us today and walk out through the MCW Center Wisconsin doors, we say farewell, but not goodbye. May all your doors lead you where you are meant to go. Congratulations.
And now, as we prepare to wrap up our ceremony, let me congratulate you once again, our newest physicians. We have conferred on you today the title and degree of medical doctor, knowing you will make us all proud to have been witness to this ceremony, honoring your success. Before we conclude, I want to thank the Central Wisconsin musicians for the wonderful music before and after. And again, thank you to the family, friends, and loved ones who have traveled far and wide to be here, and to any who are not able to join us but are on the YouTube channel. This concludes our ceremony. Guests, please remain seated until the stage party and graduates have exited. They will be available for hugs and lots of photographs after the ceremony outside in the atrium. We would like also for everybody to grab in cap and gown to gather for a photograph immediately following the ceremony so that we can get you all out of these hot gowns. Thank you for attending the 2023 MCW Central Wisconsin Commencement, and safe travels to wherever you go next.